hold up, what's happening to my intro here? And who the heck are you?
My name's Erin. I'm a fairy.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. You ruined my intro, so you can get lost.
You're so mean. This was my first time, you know. Take some responsibility. Fine. Just walk away, you heartless scoundrel. You're the worst.
Hey, I'm not as bad as One Punch Man Season 3. I've been a big fan of JRPGs for several years now. I played some good ones, and some bad ones. There's so many of them out there that I never actually got into play too. Heck, there's lots of them that I haven't even heard of before. And one of those games is a game called Fairy Fencer F. It was a JRPG released back in 2013, made by Compile Heart and Idea Factory. It revolved around a lazy guy traveling with a fairy friend, going across the world to find leftover weapons called Furies, and they fight some evil bad guys, and they make some friends along the way. It was released for the PS3 and PC, but later on it got a remaster with some new content, and it was then called Fairy Fencer F Advent Dark Force. Wow, that's a long title. I'm surprised it's not an isekai. This remaster was released for the PS4, PC, and Nintendo Switch later down the line. It was made by the same team and artists who worked on the Data Live and Neptunia series. You can tell by the similar art styles. Now, I've always loved the Data Live art style, so this game did catch my attention while I was looking for some JRPGs to play. The game has mostly positive reviews, so I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, without further ado, let's take a look at Fairy Fencer F. This game's title is way too long. Guess what? This game, of course, starts off with an anime intro. It's a pretty cool intro overall. The music was really good. Also, the title screen here reminds me a lot of Fate Unlimited Blade Works, which is really cool. The game then has a selected difficulty and adjust your game settings. I'm always thankful when a game gives you options to adjust the gameplay. The game starts out with some exposition about the goddess and vile god going to war for many years, and they ended up being sealed away for centuries. Right in the present day, we meet our main character, a young guy named Fang. Fang was thrown in jail for stealing some bread, and he gets busted out of jail by his fairy friend named Erin. She kinda looks like a combination of Kotori from Data Live and Noir from Neptunia. Turns out 3 days ago, Fang pulled the magic sword, called a Fury, out of a pedestal, and it released Erin, fairy who has been sleeping in his sword for many years. Now Fang is destined to become a fencer. No, not that kind of fencer. Which are sword specialists who fight to collect all these things called Furies. There are these other swords with fairies inside of them, just like Erin. Apparently she wants us to gather all 100 Furies to remove the goddess that's been sealed away, and then the goddess will grant us a wish. Sounds pretty simple and cool, right? Well, there's a bit of an issue here. Turns out Fang is really lazy and doesn't want anything to do with this. In fact, he only pulled a sword containing Erin because some dude told him that his wish would get granted if he managed to pull the sword. And what does Fang wish for? Food, of course.
Give me some food.
Once he learns that Erin can't grant his wish, he basically tells her to fuck off because he doesn't want to be a fencer because it's too much work. I mean, to be fair, collecting 100 weapons around the world sounds like a pain in the ass.
Haha! I got a sword! Only 99 to go! 99, huh? That's a lot of work.
And that leads us back to right now, where Fang is in jail and is too lazy to leave. Yeah, Fang is one of those lazy asshole protagonists that you'd see in some animes. He's a little funny at times, but his lazy attitude gets kind of annoying to deal with. I'd say he's a pretty mid JRPG protagonist overall. Anyways, Erin convinces him to get out of jail, and now we can finally start playing the game. So in this game, you walk around a bunch of dungeons, collect items, and fight enemies. Battles are turn-based, with you having the option to do a normal melee attack, use skills and magic, use items, and you can wait, which will give you a chance to guard. The gameplay itself is pretty simple and enjoyable. You even get to run around freely during your turn, which is really nice. The combat goes by pretty fast too, so the battles don't feel like they drag on for too long. Erin will pop in from time to time to give you a basic tutorial on how the gameplay works. As you play on through the story, you'll unlock other party members who all have their own unique skills and abilities. However, one of the main gimmicks of this game is a mode called Fair Eyes, where you throw your sword down into your body and it gives you this cool armor. Huh, I didn't know you could stab yourself to get some cool armor.
Where's my cool armor at?
And now with Fair Eyes activated, all your attacks are super powerful and you even get some cool new moves that you can use. I actually really like this feature. The power boost it gives you is really powerful, and it makes you feel satisfied taking big enemies down. Plus, listen to the music that plays here. It rocks. Now, Fair Eyes is only available when the circle around your character is filled up. This is called the tension gauge, and it will go up when you beat an enemy or inflict damage, but it can also go down if you miss an attack or fail to escape. It's a really cool feature overall, and it can turn on and off whenever it's available. You can't skip the transformation cutscene though, and I mean, yeah, it's a pretty cool cutscene and all, but sometimes I just want to get back into the gameplay already. That's another thing I want to mention here. Every time you use a skill or spell, a cutscene will play, and you can't skip any of these, which is pretty annoying honestly. I mean, sure, some of the female characters' boobs will jiggle during these moments, but it gets kinda old after a while. Another thing that bothers me about the gameplay are the random spikes in difficulty. Some battles are easy as hell to get through, then all of a sudden, a fight will be nearly impossible to win, unless you have a bunch of items or something. This is especially irrelevant when you go to this other dimension, where you see the goddess and vile god sealed away by a bunch of swords in their bodies. Every time you find a new Fury in a dungeon, you can use it to remove one of these swords on either of them. But then you'll have to do a fight in order for that small seal to be broken, and these fights are either ridiculously easy or unbelievably hard. It's just random how difficult a fight will be, which makes coming back here to free one of these gods really tedious and annoying. Now, in this other dimension, you have the option to free either the goddess or vile god. Freeing the goddess is what you're supposed to do and what Aaron and your friends want you to do, but you could also tell everyone to fuck off and free the vile god to cause chaos. It's pretty cool that the game gives you options, and they both have very different outcomes. Now, to release a goddess or vile god, you need to travel around the entire world, collect tons of Furies. You'll find them inside dungeons with enemies, and a boss inside them. Some dungeons are hidden, and you'll have to stab a Fury sword into the ground to unlock a nearby dungeon. The dungeons themselves are alright, they're basically just get from point A to point B, which means yeah, you get to them real quick, but there's not a lot happening inside them. There's no puzzles or gimmicks in any of these dungeons, which is kind of lame, but considering how many of them in total there are in the game, I get why it's like this. Now, in order to locate where these Furies are, you'll have to ask this lolly Alice in Wonderland looking girl to show you the location of a Fury. The biggest issue here is, you'll have to pay her 300 gold every time you need to find a Fury. This might not be such a big issue if you didn't need to spend so much money on items and gear, which are both really expensive. You'll need to be prepared when going inside a dungeon, so you need to buy stuff at the shop. You lose money so quickly, and then this stupid little brat who acts like Mr. Krabs will demand you give her a lot of money so that you can progress through the game's story.
If you ask me, love is spelled M-O-N-E-Y.
I absolutely hate this so much. You don't even get that much money in a fight, so grinding for money can be really annoying. This little girl is the worst. Now, the main hub area you'll be exploring in this game is Zelwyn City, where you can interact with characters, go shopping, and get some side quests. The NPCs themselves aren't really that interesting, but sometimes they say something funny, like this one lady who acted like she was about to confess to Fang, but then ended up telling him that his fly was down.
I was just gonna tell you that your fly is down!
Fang also broke the fourth wall here, which did make me laugh a little bit. Now, another thing I want to talk about are the game's characters. They're not the best in all honesty. I'm not saying they're bad per se, I did like some of them, like Aaron and Karen, but I wasn't a big fan of Tiara and Ethel, and Fang was just alright. The characters kind of act like assholes to each other most of the time, which can get kind of annoying. I mean, Ethel literally can't stop saying kill.
Kill, 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 kill.
Tiara just seems like a stuck-up lady ordering us around like we're her servant, and some of the other characters were just really forgetful. And yeah, like I said earlier, Fang can be funny sometimes, but he's also a little annoying. The designs of the characters look great though. I also really love the game's soundtrack. There's tons of great songs here, and they all fit perfectly into the game. Other than that, I don't have much else to say about this game. So my overall thoughts on this game is that it's a good game, but definitely has issues. The gameplay is fun, but can be frustrating with the random difficulty spikes. The story is decent, but the characters can be a bit annoying. It definitely feels like a 7 out of 10 game for sure.
So yeah, that was Fairy Fencer F Advent Dark Force. It's a decent game overall, but not perfect. Maybe it would have been a better game if Aaron didn't call me the worst. Stupid fairy, it made me look bad.